choosing somebody to lead this country. We need a man that we could trust to handle our business with care and love.
It takes a special kind of leader to create a kinder, gentler society. This is a portrait of our leader, the Arnhim Eustace story. Who is this man, Arnhim Eustace?
Well, I grew up in the village of Edinburgh, just outside Kingston. As a young man, apart from school, I spent a great deal of time fishing. That was my main sport, my main hobby. As a result of that, have a lot of friends in that village up to today. I spent also a lot of time playing cricket. As a matter of fact, they nicknamed me Ted Dexter. I was very strong and driving on the offside. So those cricket and fishing were my main hobbies. I still have a boat, still have a fishing boat, but I hardly use it now. My heroes when I was young had to do really with my head teachers. There was a Mr. Saunders who passed away recently, and Mr. Hercules who still lives at Prospect, not too far from me as a matter of fact. I think they played a great role in the shaping of my life. Of course, I have a great respect and love for my late parents, my father being a businessman and my mother a teacher. And of course, with their religious background, I had a relatively strict upbringing. I must say I got licks very often. I wouldn't say I was a bad boy.
What about this man qualifies him to lead Vincentians?
I have bachelor's and master's degrees in development economics. I joined the public service a few weeks after graduation. And in the 7-year period between 1970 and 77, I moved from an administrative cadet up to the level of permanent secretary in the public service. After that, I resigned on a matter of principle because I was asked to withdraw a case against a business house here that is violating the price control regulations. And I tendered my resignation because they wanted me to drop the case against that firm, and I was not prepared to do that. I then applied to several institutions, including CARICOM, the OECS Secretariat, and the Caribbean Development Bank. And I was accepted by all three, and I chose to join the bank. During that time, 1977 onwards, I moved in the bank from an administrative officer right up to the level of director of projects, which is the third highest position in the bank, and in fact the most senior directorship in the bank. I had a staff of about 75 persons under me, and we had the responsibility for preparing, negotiating the projects with all the countries in the region. And when I left the bank, we were doing on average about $120 million in projects per year. And that was my prime responsibility at the bank. That allowed me to interact with international institutions, the World Bank, the IMF, Inter-American Development Bank, European Investment Bank, and others, not only in terms of projects, but also in terms of negotiating funding for the bank itself from those institutions. And that experience has served me very well. It is an experience that anyone who is leading this country in the present economic environment needs to have. We will never have sufficient savings in our country to allow us to do all the things that we need to do for our development. And therefore we must interact with institutions, and we must interact with foreigners in terms of investment.
Eustace is a solid and stable leader, strengthened by a solid and stable family life.
Well, I'm married now for 25 years. My wife's name is Jennifer. She is from New Bruns, here in St.Vincent, the Grenadines. I have 2 children, 1 boy and 1 girl, both of them now at university in the United States. We are a close family. That is part of my upbringing. And I really insist that whatever they cost, they have to be home for Christmas. That is the best time of the year as far as I'm concerned. And I ensure that whatever they cost, they have to be here. We are very close-knit, and I speak to my children at least a minimum of once per week while they're abroad. I want to bring to the platform my right hand. This is my right hand. This is my wife, Jennifer.
I met him about 1969 when I was about to go off to university, and he had just returned from university in Canada. He was a very attractive young man. It was the first time I was seeing a young, bald man.
I bring her to you for a particular reason. She has been my wife for the last 25 years. 25 years. The NDP is 25 years old. And just as we have a stable marriage, the NDP is a stable party. And what is more, the NDP has made this country stable, politically stable. And because I'm married to her for 25 years, I'm saying to you that I know how to keep things stable. I know how to keep things stable.
The roaring 70s were upon us, and all the new political ideas and so on were now coming into the region. And I was excited by that, by hearing him expound about that in the educational forum of the people. It was really a time of heightened political activity. Things just happened that seemed to fall into place. I think we were of one mind. We had the same interests. It was a time when when we were focusing on Africa a great deal. So we had common interests and we did things together. And I think that helped in the cementing of the relationship. We went all over the place together. We liked going into the hills, the streams and the bushes of St.Vincent and the Grenadines, We did all the things that a couple of our age would have done at that time.
And how does our leader spend his quiet moments?
I read. I try wherever possible, they say, to relax. Sometimes I spend a lot of time with my garden. People don't believe that, but I like a lot of flowers around me. And both my wife and I, we spend a lot of time on that. And perhaps right now that is my best form of relaxation. I have a few friends who I meet with on Saturdays down at the beach where there's some local food served, and I look forward to that every Saturday.
We talk a great deal. We chat, and we lime at home. In particular, we have what is called the Parliament of the Mango Tree. There's this huge mango tree we have in the backyard, and some friends come by. We like to cook under the mango tree. Our specialty is goat water, and we lime and eat under the mango tree.
When you are the leader, there is always criticism.
The strongest criticism probably has to do with my style. Some people feel that I'm too serious. I don't think so. I think my job is a serious job. But I get very concerned about decision making. I get very concerned that whatever I do has an impact on people. I'm not given to glamorous things. I believe in a very practical approach to dealing with issues. Also, I believe in an all-inclusive approach where there's much greater consultation. And this tends to make you take decisions more carefully. It may take a little longer, but I believe you will get better results in the end. This tendency to having all power and all decision-making concentrated in an individual is not a good one. And you see manifestations of that in our society. I will not be going on that road. I must take an inclusive approach. Indeed, that is my style. And because of that, there's less concentration on me as the individual and more on the whole government, including the public service. So that's not a style that endears itself to people in a political season. You know, it's not a style, you know. People like to see you out there making a lot of noise and so on, but noise is one thing, results is another.
And I am sending a message to Ralph.
In this heated political season, how does Eustace feel about his main political opponent?
Well, that is a one-man band. That is how I see it. One just has to look at the kind of posters that are now being placed on the streets, his whole approach and attitude to matters in his party. One just has to look at the cancellation of the debates between the constituencies as requested by the National Youth Council. And you will see that he has an approach which says that I am the man in charge. What I say is what should go.
I make a solemn vow to you today that myself as leader and the rest of the Victory team will rebuild the stability in this country and carry this country forward to prosperity.
Apart from trust, what are the issues in this election?
The main issues to me are education, infrastructure development, and the orientation of our country to the recognition that we live in a new kind of world and that we have to restructure our economy in order to meet the challenges arising out of that new environment. If we can get home to our people that we need to recognize that and change our attitudes, then the whole campaign would have been worth it. Too many people still take it too easy. Too many people still believe that somehow everything will come right one day. But we need to take an attitude. We need to recognize very, very clearly that the problems we have with bananas will affect us in other sectors if we are not competitive. If we are to be competitive, then our work attitudes have to change. The technology we use has to change. Our education has to change. And these are very serious matters. And unless our population becomes well sensitized to those, we'll be left behind. You know? And I believe that more than anything else is very important as an issue in this campaign.
What are some of the challenges that Arnhim Eustace must face as a leader?
What I do know is that I don't recognize the responsibility that you have for a country. It is an awesome responsibility. And it is something that one has to take absolutely seriously. People's lives depend on your decisions and on your actions. And perhaps that is the challenge. The desire to do right by our people.
And what should motivate Vinci behavior this election season?
Be quiet, Christian people. That's the way we were brought up. Let us stay that way.
We should ensure that this country does not descend into violence during this election campaign. We cannot afford that.
Arnhim Eustace is the right man to continue leading this country forward in this time of change. And the change that he would like to see most in his people?
The reorientation of our attitudes in terms of what is needed for the new economy. And in addition, to get our people to be more concerned about one another. That is what I mean when I refer to a kinder and a gentler society.